Ladies and gents, welcome to the 2 Cents Pod. I am Brand.
What's going on, you guys? It's Armand.
And we are back on a Sunday afternoon, chilling out. Got two fellas with me. And before we begin on the podcast, man, we usually do a mathematics section. But for this episode, man, we just really want to send our condolences and our prayers to Amy Joyner, the teenage girl who was victimized in the jumping accident in Delaware on Thursday. So a lot of that didn't really get a lot of press. Folks may not know or where exactly how it happened, when it happened. But on behalf of myself and Armand, we definitely want to just send our condolences out to her family and friends alike.
And also, another mathematic we have is stress. So, I think a lot of people stress over things that's really not important. And I learned that from one of my coworkers, who was a teacher. It was like every time I see this dude in class or in the hallway, he's just so happy. And he's so, just chill. Every time you see him, he's just relaxed. He don't raise his voice. And he be dealing with a lot of nonsense. I'm like, yo, how you do that, man? He said, hey, listen, man, I just focus on the good things in life. So I'm taking a lot from him. His name is Mr. Moorhead. Take a lot from him and just start being like him. Just relaxing and enjoying the positive things in life and not concerned with all the nonsense you may see every day. Just focus on the positive stuff.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I'm gonna let these two brothers introduce themselves, man. We got Steve's back for the first time, unofficially for his first time.
Unofficially.
And my man Gerald, man. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves.
I'm not sure what you want me to say. I mean,
I'm going to walk me off of the show, man. I heard, Steve, he already connected, but I heard a lot about your friend Gerald. I heard a lot of good things about you, man. Welcome to the show. We're glad to have you guys.
Appreciate it. I'm here, resident comic book guy, so, got my opinions on some other stuff, but I'm really waiting to get into the meat of this Batman, Superman thing later on.
So that on Monday.
Most definitely.
I'll be the devil's advocate today for today's discussion. Give people another side of the situation that we're talking about, minus Prince.
Because it's only one side.
It's only one side.
Only one side.
We'll take Prince over there.
No doubt. So as we brought Prince up, I'm interested to get you guys' reactions to his passing, and Armand, you want to we can start with you, man.
It's really shocking. I think that was the first. I think that was the same day that happened to that girl in Delaware also. So I was at work when I found out. Because I really don't look at my phone when I'm teaching. I heard it was all on social media, but one of my coworkers across the hall told me that he passed. And it was shocking because I didn't know if he was sick or not. I wasn't really following him too much. Like some of his hardcore fans was like, I wasn't really paying that much attention. But when he passed, I thought he was young. 57 is not old. So when that happened, it was really shocking. But what really stood out to me was that a lot of the good artists have been around for a long time. I think Brandon, you posted on your Facebook. They passed on, and so I'm not an artist, I'm not a music person, but if I was, I think that would motivate me because I feel like who's going to not replace them, but who's going to carry that torch? There's a lot of people out here that make music, but it's not really even good music. R&B, love-wise, hip-hop, or pop is not really good music. So I would think that that's a challenge. A lot of people dying and passed on, and who going to step up and carry that torch of that quality music? I like Kim and all those guys, but to me, there's not a lot of people like that out here. So I think it's a challenge to the younger generation to carry that torch.
Yeah, man. For me, I'm going to pose a question after we all say our own reactions, but. For me, it was definitely a shocker. He was in fairly good health. He always looked, to the nines.
Absolutely.
All the time, you know what I mean?
And talk about black don't crack.
Black don't crack, yeah. Good black. I think it was kind of cool to see that, you know, we're 80s babies, we're not 80s children, you know what I mean? It's a difference. But I think it was cool to see that our generation and younger, you know, respond to his greatness. And you know, my mom is you know, we're gonna tap her in soon. But Prince was more of, I would say, about 10 years older than us, maybe that era, maybe 7 years. But our generation, we still knew, you know. And it's kind of cool to have Steve here because out of our circle of friends, Steve was probably the biggest Prince fan and really kind of tapped into what he was doing like early on. And but nonetheless, man, a huge loss. Like this whole weekend, I've been trapped in the '80s, man. Like I'm listening to like Purple Rain and Love Sexy for like 4 days, man.
Can't get away from it.
I am trapped in the '80s right now. Yes, I'll let y'all say your piece, man.
Well, I'll go as far as to say that there isn't a torch to carry. That guy was so unique and so special. And when you talk about, you know, genius is thrown around entirely too much, but in his case, it is completely and totally appropriate. You're talking, what was it, 13 instruments the guy played. If you ever really listen to his albums, the vocals are all him. You know, all of the backing vocals, all of that stuff's all him. You know, lyrically, he hits on so many, you know, the sexual, the spiritual. It's pretty amazing that you know, I'm 41, so I was around when all of this stuff was first coming out and not really getting it. I mean, and not to turn anybody off too much, all these guys sitting in the same room, but it was like, all right, wait, mommy, what's masturbating? You know, I'm like, what was it, like 9 or something? Like that was the first time I heard that word, and to bring so much into, again, lyrics, music. I don't think anybody. I mean, you know, there are a handful of people you could talk about. We just lost Bowie early this year, and
they had the same tailor.
Right.
Right,
and you can see it. Actually, Prince, another level hole in your head. He does the Bowie suit from. I'm flaking on the Modern Love video. It's the same yellow suit.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, but they had similar chameleon-like qualities, where it was like every year, you know, or every album they would reinvent themselves. So I don't think there's a torch should be carried. I don't think music is even viewed the way Prince viewed music. You know, complete and total artist. So I'm gonna leave that there because I can go on forever.
You know, I'm going to piggyback off of that because I think Prince had his own standard with the music. He pretty much exemplified like how you can switch your style. Because when he first came out in the 80s, you know, 80s, early 90s, it was the sex, you know, partying, the sex, and then he switched it to the spiritual, and you're partying, but not the sexual wilding out partying.
Right.
You know,
the overtone was different.
The overtone was totally different, but you know, the work ethic, you know, the talent with the instruments, the vocals. He had so many, you know, I guess apprentices, if you want to call them that, proteges. You know, that followed his career and everything, you know. And, you know, when I heard it, I was at work. I was actually in a meeting, and I went back to my desk, and I went online for something, and then I saw that Prince died. And I was like, wow, I didn't believe it. Because, you know, sometimes you see, like, so-and-so, you know, so-and-so celebrity dies. So I did a little more digging, and I saw that he did die. Apparently, you know, he was sick for, like, the past 2 weeks. And they found him at his home. Was it in his studio?
Hey,
he was in the studio working.
I thought he was in the elevator.
Well, I read that he was in the studio.
Isn't his home his studio?
Yeah,
you know, like
so
everything.
He just lived it.
He was home.
He just lived it. Yeah.
You know, so he lived it. You know, he ate it and he breathed it, man. And so, you know, for me, I think today's artists, you know, because I mean, think about it. Like, are there artists today? Because artists, like, you
that
know,
word gets
you know,
tossed around
it's
a lot. people that don't deserve it nowadays.
You know, a lot of people don't deserve it. So, you know, most people can just go into the studio, put a song on a laptop, and just sing. He made his music,
Right.
You know,
Very similar element.
That's totally different.
It's
Like,
a big difference between a hot track
Yeah.
and great music.
yeah, it's a totally different. But you know, he set that bar high enough that I don't think today's generation, you know, somebody's coming up, if you respect the music enough to try to reach it, but I don't think anybody's going to reach it from this day forward.
And he kind of was like an object. It was almost like he can't die.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like he's dead.
yeah,
You know what I mean? He just transcended black, white,
yeah,
man, and woman.
yeah, man.
Like he just did whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah.
But we got my mom on the line, and I felt like it was very important to get her perspective because, you know, she was around for a lot of Prince's predecessors like James Brown and Sly and Family Stone, Parliament Funkadelic, and then she had the opportunity to kind of like get right in the middle where Prince began in the 80s when he basically went in his prime. So, Mom, I would just love to hear yours, you know, sentiments, thoughts on Prince, you know, the whole era of music and everything, you know.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to
Good
be
afternoon.
on your program. I can just speak of how iconic Prince was, and what I can think about is his biography, and how much he influenced our lives today, everyone, universally. He was born in June 7th of 1958, which was around the time I was born, and he passed on April 21st of 2016. Such a loss for all communities across the world. His actual birth name was Prince Rogers Nelson. He was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He married twice. Unfortunately, those marriages failed. But his mother was a jazz singer, and her name was Maddie Shaw. His father's name was John L. Nelson. He was a lyricist, and he was also a pianist. Prince suffered a very troubled life. He ran away from home at a very early age, and consequently, he was adopted. And he was adopted by the Anderson family. And he developed a very strong relationship with one of their sons. And he was very, very musically talented, as well as Prince. And during that time, Prince learned to play 28 instruments extremely well. And this child, his name was Andrew Anderson. Along with him and some of their other friends, they formed a band called Grand Central. The band was very successful, but after a few years, it diminished. But before that, they renamed their band. It was called Champagne. And then after that, they became, very successful, and then soon the band diminished. But at the age of 18, he created his first demo track with a gentleman by the name of Chris Moon, who signed him on under a contract. Don't know the name of that. But later on, he signed a contract with Warner Brothers, and Prince made his first debut on the record label, which was created in 1978 on the album called For You. And on that album, he created wonderful soundtracks like Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad, I Want to Be Your Lover. That was created in 1979. He didn't start to attract mainstream artists until he released his single entitled 1999, which is a universal hit. He formed a band called The Revolution in the year 1984. His profound masterpiece film and soundtrack was produced called Purple Rain. Prince formed a new band, another band. It was called the New Power Generation, I believe. And